side of LA y'all don't get to see.
Right.
Know
So I think
somebody.
I'll just stay up here in Arkansas then with our code.
Yeah, Arkansas is worse though. It's brutal. That's brutal. When I came to visit, and I hadn't been back in a minute. You know, it's cold. It's cold in Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful. And
We'll
you
be
went
going live
from your page.
on air in a few moments.
You went live from your page.
Huh?
You went live from your page.
Well, we're live on Facebook on the KLEK
Ah, okay.
page, and then we'll be going live on air soon, very soon. So I know people hear us. Hi, everybody in Facebook world. My guest is Mr. Eric Jones. He has a wonderful story, and I can't wait for y'all to hear it. I've been following him for about 4 years now, and y'all, this young man is doing some things, and I hope that other people are inspired. And even though I'm quite a bit older, I'm still inspired to keep pushing and keep living my dreams and not let anything stop me. So, look, we're from the same area, so if he can make it, I know I can make it too.
Yeah, and
So,
people be like, it's cliche, but it's like whenever you have somebody that's really sharing their story and really transparent, and you know you're actually seeing where they started and where they got to and what they went through on that journey, then it's like it's more, it becomes more real and more like believable when you
yes,
actually tell the story. Mm-hmm.
I've been blessed to meet a few people like that just over the past 6 months. That on the outside you see one thing, but once you get to those under layers, like, wow, really?
A lot more.
Okay. So, alrighty. We have the news and the weather. And so, again, we'll be going live in a few moments. So, look, if y'all have questions, no, not if you have questions, get your notepad and pen out and get ready to take some notes because
Let's have some
I'm
questions.
sure this young man is going to be dropping some gems because he's more than just a designer. Like, look, you'll have to go follow him on his Instagram page because you dropped some knowledge about TikTok and you were like, people kind of ignored you and this. No, I don't know if it's TikTok or in
Clubhouse. I
Clubhouse.
was going ham.
But I mean, sometimes you got to give it to them like it come and like either you take this or leave it. I'm trying to help you win, So okay,
A lot of people be on there.
alrighty.
You got to really find the people that are authentic to their brand.
Um,
And are you ready?
yes. Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. We're tuned into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Cordelia Jones, and my special guest today is Mr. Eric Jones, also known as Dr. Dapper. He is, for lack, oh gosh, a shoe designer. He has a luxury tea brand. He is, I want to say marketing or
Brand consultant.
okay. And there's so much more, just so much more. And y'all, he's only 25. Oh my goodness. So, but I'm not going to tell his story, but I do want you to know he has a wonderful story. He's from the Delta region. And look, just take a listen. So I'm going to let you take it away, Mr. Eric, because you can tell your story better than I can.
Yeah, I can tell the story, and I hope you got some good questions for me so we can have that good dialogue. But
Always got questions.
from Helena, Arkansas. So I was born and raised down there. My stepdad, of course, is a pastor, Reverend Robinson. My mom was a first lady. A lot of people know her as Big Sexy or Gloria. So that was my mom.
Okay.
Grew up in church, and before my mom got married to my stepdad, it was we grew up with we had some rats and roaches. I came from that really poor background where you really wonder oh, why me? Why did I have to grow up like this? And over time it got better. And during that one big part of my story, during my childhood, I had to help take care of my grandma, and she was bedridden. So I think that made me mature really early. And a lot of people say, "Oh, you're so wise, you're so mature." It's like I'm childish. I feel like I'm really, really childish now, just because I never had a childhood. So I had to grow up
Okay.
so fast, and see her in that position, had to help take care of her. So it was always school, work, and then back home to take care of her. And
Okay.
she 2010. My biological father, who lived in Mariana, he passed in 2013, and then my mom passed in 2016, right before I graduated college. And she helped
Wow.
me start me that I have now, which is LFLS shoes. I put a shoe right here. The people on the radio can't see it. You know, we got it right.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have
Yeah,
that
let me
without.
tell you.
And then so I think my style is like, I have to give thanks to my upbringing, growing up in church, because she tried to keep me nice and a little suit or whatever she could afford, and just that lifestyle just stuck with me over time and evolved into what it is today. But yeah, the biggest part about my journey that I share a lot is the entrepreneurial struggles as a Black man after I graduated college, losing the people that I've lost, the 3 years apart in 3 year increments, and then also growing up in a poor, underrepresented area where people really don't have any opportunities. And you're literally, after I got out, I'm like, yo, I'm really lucky that I made it out, and I'm like not in the streets, I'm not rapping, I'm not doing something that everybody sees as, oh, this is the way out. So it's a blessing to be able to be that light that shines and be that representation for the community where I come from, and then also other communities of people that look like me that need to see the entrepreneur or that business owner that's rocking that suit that makes it cool. So that's a little bit of the story, and of course we can like dig in a little deeper.
Yes. I want to know, one, was it always a dream of yours to be a designer or entrepreneur of any kind when you were living back at home?
I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. All you know is work, 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 and not really own. So I didn't know that I could even own anything. I didn't even know entrepreneurship was a word. I didn't know how to spell it. I didn't know what it meant. So I think even growing up in that environment and being put into a box that society puts you in, if you can't think outside of that box or travel outside of that box, you'll probably get confined in that box. And I was lucky enough to not get confined in that box because I knew that life had more to offer. And then me seeing my mom struggle, barely making ends meet, working 2 or 3 jobs, I'm like, there's got to be something else out there. So me being the creative, outgoing person that I was, or that I am, I went to college. I didn't go to PC. A lot of people stayed and went to the community college. I'm like, yo, this BS. I'm not going to the community college. I got to get out. Like, y'all tripping. I see what's going on around here, so let me leave. And then fashion came about, and entrepreneurship came about. Well, fashion, it was my sophomore year, or my second semester of college, because I couldn't major in architecture, and I hated when I majored in business. So I majored in fashion because one of my advisors was like, yo, you dress nice, check out the fashion major. And I just jumped into it. And then I read an article my junior year about a girl that started a shoe company. She didn't know anything about shoes. She just had money and connections. And I was like, I ain't got the money. I got a little bit of connections, so I can draw. Let me like, dabble in it a little bit. Cause at that point I knew that I wanted to develop some kind of brand, just because of the type of person that I was becoming. And I started to realize, generational wealth, the importance of ownership, economic and entrepreneurship. And I started to become a person that people looked up to. So, and I didn't have a job after I graduated either. So I was like, I got to
Oh,
bet on
wow.
myself. I didn't have a job. So I hadn't had a job since summer 2016, so that was, and I think my mom passing too really pushed me into this business because I wouldn't have it without her. And that was the last thing she saw me trying to do. So I was like, I can't not continue to try doing this. So, that really pushes me forward every day because I know that she's not here. And, but, it was like she passed the baton on to me, and she was the last person that was passing it on to me. And then it was up to me to continue to, run that race that she, started. So I think she knew that she, was giving birth to a king, or someone that was going to create generational wealth, or somebody that was going to break generational curses, or be this light that shines in the community that people see like, yo, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. So she knew that. She invested her last in me, and a lot of stuff that people don't even know. Just credit cards and going into debt, and got my first samples. But that's how entrepreneurship and just that piece of that journey started.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, okay, you started drawing, you started designing, you finished school, and you when you said you didn't have a job, I think that's like 90% of everyone's story that they don't always have a job right after college. Um, People think, okay, go to college, get a job. It doesn't always work like that. You have to do some more work behind that. Go ahead.
Doesn't work like that. And I think even nowadays, college isn't like necessary. If you, it's good for an experience. If you're like one to build connections, go for what you love, go for what you care about, go for what you're passionate about. Because if you're just going for the money, you're going for the wrong reason. You know, you're gonna spend a lot of money and then not get nothing in return. So unless you're going to be a nurse, a lawyer, a doctor, something like that, where you got to work on somebody's body or something, then of course focus, be in that. But if you like art, go for art. If you like doing hair, go for doing hair. Whatever you love, whatever you're passionate about. And after you graduate from that school, if you don't build on your dream, somebody will hire you to build on their dream. And that's why we still slaves today. That's why we carry the country on our back, because we're not investing in our own dreams. So when I graduated, don't nobody want to hire me. I ain't got no job. I'm overqualified. Bet. Let me work on my own. Let me work on what I got right here. And people didn't understand that, because they're like, oh, well, you got this, your mom paid for this degree. You got this degree. Go get a job. You're struggling. I can't create generational wealth with one stream of income. One stream of income is too close to zero. Since I have my own stream that I own that can be passed down, I can't pass down that job, because when I'm dead, they're gonna hire somebody else to replace me, my position, the day that I die or the day after I die. So they don't really care. So I understand that I have to focus on what my mom left for me that can create generational wealth, that can be passed down, that can branch off into different streams of income. And understanding that, I was good.
Look, you just dropped a whole bunch of gems. I hope everybody's out there picking them up because,
Hey.
look, yes, sir. And growing up, me, like, I'm a whole couple generations older than you,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't taught about following your passions. My family was like, go to school for something that's going to make you money, like where you can get a job. Nursing was the thing they were trying to push me into. I don't want to be a nurse. I actually wanted to be a fashion designer when I was younger. Unfortunately, life happened. I lost my mom, and I couldn't go away to school because my family wanted me to stay closer to home, so they
Mm-hmm.
can kind of keep tabs on me. So I went to traditional college, a few hours away from home, studied something that, I don't know. Life was happening. I hit a bunch of ups and downs, and now I'm finally in my groove, you know. And I'm happy that you found your groove early on. You're not at my age and just
Parents,
finding your groove.
invest in your kids, invest in their dreams. Stop trying to live through your kids and make them do the things that you couldn't do. Stop trying to watch your kids and keep them close to home. Let them go out and experience something, man. Like if you don't if you hold your child back from what their true purpose in life is, because I feel like we're all born with a purpose. And whenever your child taps into that purpose, a lot of kids have been tapping into it earlier. If you don't tap into it earlier, you got to unlearn a lot of things. You got to re-tap in with that childlike mentality. So, and a lot of times it's because the parents don't, they're like, oh, the kid comes in, I want to do hair, mom. I like doing hair. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to do math. You want to do this. You want to major in business. You want to do this and that. It's like, they don't. They're telling you what they want to do. So you don't know who you just birthed. You could have
That's
birthed
right.
the king, but you pushing them away from what they want to do. So if you don't invest in what they want to do and you try to live what you couldn't do through them, you're gonna screw up. You done screwed up their whole life. You're supposed to be there to guide them, not really just like pull them a whole different direction. So when my mom actually saw that I cared about the shoes, she got credit cards. She pulled money from wherever she could, and she dropped it there because she knew, like, okay, this is what my son want to do. I'm gonna make it happen. She pray about it. She do whatever she do, and she make it happen. And to this day, I don't know how she makes it happen. How she made it happen, but she did. And I think that's something that's really powerful that a lot of parents have to do. You have to get behind your kids' dreams and their passions, because you, just like a father and his daughter, you're gonna be the first person that she experienced like love from a man from. Like you're gonna show her how she should be treated by a man. So the same thing with your daughter's or your son's business. You're gonna be the first source of their support, motivation, inspiration. So if you're not that, then they're gonna have a harder time even just pushing through when other people are not supporting them. Like, yeah, my mom didn't even support me, so now who won't support me? So it's gonna be ridiculous.
Okay. Wow. Look, we got some comments. We got a wonderful comments in the Facebook feed. Almedia Jones says, "Say it, son."
What's good,
Nick,
Mr. Jones?
Nikki Nicole Jackson says, "Absolutely 100. Educate." Miss Robin Kuykendall says, "For no college to work well, we've got to get a high school higher quality for everyone." I'm guessing that she's saying we got to get
Let's
higher
speak on that.
quality education high school.
Let's speak on that because it starts before college. It starts before high school. It starts in the house. We got to get these kids trained in the house. You know, we got to start to and teach them about real life situations. Why are we learning about life insurance and credit after we get out of college? We should be learning about that in the crib with our parents. So I think that's why we're at a disadvantage, because in the household we're not learning from the mindset of abundance. We're learning from the mindset of lack. Oh, I can't afford that. Or, oh, we can't get that. Why not? Teach me about money. Help me build my relationship with money, because money is a tool. And if you're not educating me on financial literacy or different ways that I can finesse, if we're not creating this life insurance policy to where that's an asset, if we're not thinking about heavy on the assets, light on the liabilities, because I never knew what assets and liabilities were. But when I got older, I'm like, okay, I'm out of college. This is the lingo of the entrepreneurial world, which is mostly, not us. So it's like, I have to learn so much that that most of these people knew when they was growing up and they was 10. And I'm like, dang, so that's why we're behind. We're behind because it's not because of your skin. Your skin is not stopping you from building $1 billion business. Your skin is not stopping you from having a private jet. Your skin is not stopping you from getting the job you want. A lot of times, it's just like, yo, you putting yourself down. So stop. It's the mindset. Our mindset has screwed us up so much, and we have to understand where we have to start. And I think it starts in the house, in the crib, with the parents. You got to teach the kids. You got to educate them, and you got to believe them. So yeah, high school is I hated high school.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
All right.
I love college though.
You love college. I hate high school. Yeah. So we got some more comments. I'm gonna try to get them in before we go to our first break. And these are mostly from Miss Robin. She says, "I love it. Work for yourself rather than other people." She said, "Yes, get away from dead ends, but remember to reach back." Amen. Parents, find your child's strengths and invest in those. And then she also asks, what can we do with a child that shows no passion? We'll get to that in a minute. But Miss Nicole says, we have to invest as parents, true, but we have to teach our children responsibility, hard work, willingness, and sacrifice. So very good comments. Thank you
I
all.
always learn
And
hard work and sacrifice for sure. I always learned that.
And so the question, what can we do with a child that shows no passion? Now that's a little tricky. However, as a parent, I can say introduce your kids to different things and see
Mm-hmm.
kind of what sticks and what flows,
Mm-hmm.
and then nurture that thing.
Yeah, you
That's
got
my take on it.
you got.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's perfect. Really exposing them to other things, even outside of your current. Like if you're in Helena, if you're not exposing your kids to things outside of Helena, they might not really be able to find what they were really born to do, or their passion, or what they're interested in, or their purpose. So I think we have to start to go outside and seek other environments. I think environment plays a big part in the development of a business owner or entrepreneur or a basketball player or whatever it might be. So I think once you allow them to step outside of that and not hold them back, so they can have to stay within 2 hours of the crib, so their parents can keep a hold on them, let them go. I wish I would have went further. I just went to Fayetteville, but if I would have went further, ain't no telling what would have happened. Because there's no telling who you can meet, what experiences you can have. It's just life is beautiful. So I think you have to let people live it.
That's right. I wanted to go to school in Texas.
Mm.
Didn't have my dad lived in one part of Texas, but where I wanted to go to school was a whole different part, and my family were just kind of like, no. So I came to Jonesboro. And this is where I've been for the past 10 years. So
Like Usher, one of them days, 10 hours. That's okay though. That's okay though. As long as you love Jonesboro.
it's, we'll get the jury's still out on that, but okay. We have another comment. Another comment. Almedia says, Almedia, please. Am I saying that right?
Amita Jones. I think it's
Almedia.
Amita.
Okay. They said, Eric, remember when they thought you were my real son in high school?
Yeah, they thought I was her son for real. And and this will take me to the part about, well, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So I think relationship. I live off of faithfulness and friendship. I think building friendships is one thing that really helped me so much in my journey as an entrepreneur. I'm a very welcoming person. I've never met a stranger. So I think even meeting people and building that mother son or that father son or that brother brother relationship, that's helped me go so much further. Just because I said, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And your network is your network. So whenever you build that network of people, it's going to definitely increase your network because you're going to get in different rooms around different people and have different experiences that you might need to have to build that wealth. Because all it takes is one time. One time, one thing, one experience. All it takes is one. You can try so many different things and stop searching for that $1 million idea and start multiplying the $10 idea. You already got your $1 million idea. People got to stop searching for it because that's the reason why they don't make $1 million, because they're searching for that one idea. It's like, bro, whatever you're doing, whatever you care about, whatever is bringing in $10 right now, just multiply that, figure out a way to duplicate it and get it to the point where it's $1,000, get it to the point where it's 10,000, and don't ask for $1 million on tomorrow, because if you get it, just like somebody winning the lottery, you don't know what to do with it. If you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage 10,000. You're gonna get it, like,
go back to that mindset.
what do we do with it? You don't know what to do with it. You just go spend it. So you gotta know where to invest it. You know how to invest in yourself. Investing in yourself is so important. You're your biggest asset you're gonna ever have. To everybody listening, that's why I'm making it so far, is because I continue to invest in myself. And you have to see yourself as a bigger asset than a Gucci bag or a Gucci belt, because people miss their light bill to look cute for some people they don't even care about.
Okay, pass the collection plate because you are preaching.
Yes. And even in COVID, taking your stimulus check and going to Rodeo, going to buy some Gucci, or going to buy some Fendi, Prada, Louis because your favorite rapper got it. Screw that. Invest in yourself. Invest in some knowledge, because that belt and that shirt might shrink. That belt can get stolen, but that knowledge, it's gonna be right there. And you gotta understand, when you get that knowledge isn't power. The application of knowledge is where power comes into play. You can know everything in the world, but if you don't apply it, it's just like you not knowing it. So we can keep rolling. It's snowball effect. We'll just keep going, because people need the word, and you gotta really, representation is key. If you're looking at these rappers, at these drug dealers, and you thinking that's it, that is not it. The money be fake. You're looking at the gross, you're not looking at the net, because who you got to pay after you get this gross income? A lot of people going home with nothing. And then also we got to think about wealth. Wealth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in time. Being rich, that's measured in dollars. We're trying to be wealthy. We're trying to create generational wealth, not generational riches. We can't, rich, that ain't it. Wealth. And in order to create wealth, you got to have multiple streams of income. But before you get multiple streams of income, you got to have one that's working, because what's the point of having 7 if only one of them is working? The other one's just a burden. So let's focus. Let's niche down. Let's find the right representation. Let's actually build these businesses, because the other stuff, that's slave work. I mean, we if we can be great in rap and basketball and football and all this other stuff, we can be great business owners. We know Black Wall Street. They swept it under the rug, but we know. And if we want to create Black Wall Street again, it ain't gonna be built off rappers and football players. It's gonna be built off successful Black businesses where we can go patronize with. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna put a pause right there. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna continue this conversation on air. So those you listen on the radio or your app, you better jump on Facebook, because we're gonna continue this conversation until we come back, because we got some more comments, and y'all know I'm the queen of questions. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt, queen of questions. So, but we'll be right back after these announcements. Okay, so I want to read some of these other comments. So Ms. Robin says, if high school is irrelevant, kids hate it, demand relevance. I've been saying for the longest, we need to restructure, whoever we are, we need to restructure the school system, period. Like, it needs a complete overhaul.
We need to own our own schools. We need to own our own schools, because the things that are being taught is being manipulated. And it's also things that, the last time I used P equals whatever equals MC squares, or what is pi, or what is this, or what is that, I ain't used that. So I feel like trade schools are better than, I wish I'm like, oh, what is a trade school? Like, I have a skill that I want to study specifically, because you go to this high school, you can't pass unless you pass this test in this class. And it's like, the system is so structured to where no matter if you're white, black, orange, purple, you got to go through it. You got to go through the system. And if you don't pass a certain test, you're going to hold me back. And I ain't never used that in my life. It's like, bro, give me some real life tools that I'm going to need after all this structured schooling, when I need to wake up, when I need to be at school, when the bell dismisses me, the teacher being this way, you have to understand this. This is my curriculum. It's like everything is just so structured, and it's manipulating, and it's like it's training to get you to the point where you can work for somebody in a corporate job. It's not getting you prepared to own your own shit. It's
Mm.
preparing you to go work for somebody else because they're going to be in control of your life. Again, most of the people that own these businesses, they were C students and they probably didn't go to college. So we got to stop thinking we
I'm
have to take all A's in school in order to be great. You don't. don't.
I'm glad you brought that up, and we're going to talk about that because we're going to come back about another 30, 45 seconds. I'm currently, like, I have a BA in sociology and a MA in communications with an education component, and now I'm taking an additional um, credit certificate program in sociology. And social theory and social stratification teaches us that you have these, well, in the 1800s, they call them the bourgeois and the proletariat classes, the have and the have nots, basically, the owners and the workers. And that's a whole other discussion, but this ties right into what you're saying.
And workers, you
There's
don't have
always,
smart to tell somebody to change the tire. It's like, you're gonna be the worker, you're gonna be the person that's gonna just like telling, you're gonna be the uploader, you're gonna be the downloader. What you're gonna be like? We gotta.
and and then we just saw something, and again, we're coming back in about 10 seconds. That just happened with GameStop. I know this is not that discussion, but I want to tap into that just a little bit because I've seen a lot of more discussion, and I've been in a trading group, and we're talking about all this stuff. So anyway, hold that thought. All right, y'all. Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLK 102.5 FM. Tell y'all we're having a good conversation. You're gonna have to go back and watch the whole video because Mr. Eric is dropping some real knowledge here, and you're helping me to increase my mindset. I'm thankful for the education I have, and I really feel like it's helping me to help educate other people. And the other things that I'm learning, because before we went to break, we talked about, you know, investing and learning how to be business owners versus working for someone else all the time. And that's where I am at this point in my life. Yes, I'm behind the curve, but you know what? I'm not dead. And I still have energy in my body. So hey, I'm doing what I can do.
I don't even know if I would say you're behind the curve. I think everything in life is about perspective. There are people that I feel like I'm behind the curve. There's people that's 12 doing what I'm doing. So no matter how old you are, what generation you're in, there's always going to be something that makes you feel like you're behind the curve. But one thing you can't do is compare somebody's chapter 10 to your chapter 1. And then also, if your perspective on your life is a positive perspective, you're going to probably get a positive outcome. Just like if you have a wreck and you have a negative perspective on that, like, oh, why I gotta have a wreck? Oh, why me? I ain't got no money. And you just look at it like, maybe whoever your source is wanted you to have a new car. And that perspective on it, then you get a new car. I think that's what's helped me continue to push through as an entrepreneur too, because we face a lot of obstacles where we're like, hey, should I keep going? But if your perspective on that is what keeps you going. I think that's very important in any situation. So you're not behind the curve. I think you should shift your perspective on that, for sure.
All right. Well, quite a few. Facebook is lit up. Let me tell you. So I'm gonna just read the
Y'all
comments and
share
then
the
we'll address.
Facebook with people. Share the video with people, like 10 people.
So I'm gonna read the comments and then we'll address them after. All right. So good morning to Mrs. Clarice Scales. So Robin says, let's talk about banks and investment. We own schools through the school board. Who actually knows their school board? Um,
Exactly. Like
um,
who actually knows who's actually running the country? Because the president ain't doing that. Let's talk
okay.
about
Ms. Nikki says, I agree, or I've done 48 years of college and have to take a test to get certified. That's crazy. We are State Representative Dan Sullivan says, um, excellent comments and perspective. Let me know if I can be of assistance.
you can
I'm
be.
going to definitely reach out to you, sir.
And let's get something set up to where I can come back and I can have a seminar. Me and my stepdad were working on that when I was at home. We need to have a seminar where we bring entrepreneurs in and business owners that come from the environment that we come from to show people, hey, there are more opportunities. Let's get this money. Let's invest in y'all. Let's find y'all's passion. Let's give y'all the tools and the knowledge you need to think outside of this box that you've been confined in so you can move on and start that business and not get killed on the street. Because too many people are getting shot on the street because of this representation of what success looks like. Too many people getting killed. Every time I hop on
Yes.
Facebook, I'm like, why did somebody else in Helena, Arkansas just get killed over nothing? Get out or go back and invest in this community with something positive. If you're not doing that, bro, what we doing? Because we're killing the next generation. There's people that's 15, 16, they killing each other because they ain't got nothing else to do. So bring something beneficial, something. Even the Boys and Girls Club ain't doing nothing for them. Come on, man. Like, where the money?
there need
We trying to
there
get where
needs
the
to
money.
be an overhaul on all of these so-called social programs and community programs, and there needs to be an overhaul. There needs to be a rise of leaders, and
Man,
that's what I try to do. I'm only one person, and again, like I said, I'm finding my groove. Life situations happened earlier, and now I'm on the other side of that, and so here I am trying to utilize my education and intelligence and become more engaged and involved and help raise up a new generation of leaders. Like, we have to constantly reach back. I am because of someone else, so the next generation needs to be because of who we are. That's
exactly.
my
You gotta read.
my
The money is there. They just have to take the money and put it where it's supposed to go. Like, people can. It's like, it's mind blowing to me that, like, oh well, let's make stricter, you know, guidelines, or a curfew, whatever. It's like they still gonna go kill each other. We need to get these people in a room and give them something to look at. Be like, yo, this person looks like me. They went through what I went through. I actually know this person. I'm inspired. And then give them some action steps. People need action steps. We ain't giving nobody action steps. The only action steps we giving: stay at home, don't kill nobody tonight. Yeah, go to school tomorrow, whatever it might be. They need real action steps to where it's like, if they want to be an entrepreneur, they get some kind of funding to start a business. I really want to open up a scholarship at the University of Arkansas, or wherever, a couple of them, to give back to people that want to be entrepreneurs, that don't want to go rap, that can't play basketball, that can't run track, that can't play football, and can't do these other things that we're supposed to be like entertain. They can't be an entertainer. Like, I just want to run a business, bro. And most of the times, the business owners are the ones that's really owning the Lamborghinis and the private jets. These rappers and stuff, they really not really. A lot of them really not owning that. So a lot of it's rented. A lot of it's just fronting. It's a lot of flexing. It's a lot of capping on social media. So you believe half what you see and none of what you hear. You know what I'm saying? Because too many people capping. So if you want to get to the real bag, the wealth bag, you gotta own something. You gotta own something.
Yes. Yes. Look, these comments again. I'm telling you, people are really into this conversation. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who has commented. And when we get done, you get a chance to go back and look at the comments and address, the questions. Miss Carolyn Jones says, totally awesome. Awesomeness really does come from Helena. Laurel says, stocks. Yes. We might not have time to get into stocks today, but I'm learning the stock market and I'm loving it.
I would say, I always tell people, invest in what you know. And if you don't know yourself, I say start with yourself. Self is source. If you don't know yourself, because a lot of people think they know themselves, they don't know themselves. That's why they really doing it. That's why they're in a job that they don't love, they don't care about. They live for the weekend. If you're living for the weekend, you're in the wrong situation. You need to switch it.
Wow.
If you hate when Monday come around, you excited when Friday coming around, what you doing? It's time for a change. You gotta stop playing yourself and start paying yourself. Too many people not paying themselves, and they playing themselves so much. You sleep on yourself. Wake up.
Wow. Ms. Robin asks, do you have any recommended podcasts? Ms. Carolyn Jones says, we have been culturally brainwashed for far too long.
Mm-hmm.
Representative Sullivan says, seminar. I'll be there if at all possible. So definitely take his name down. Carolyn Jones says, speak, brother. Not represent senator, I'm sorry. She was telling them to invest in pre-K and let teachers lay out curriculum. That's her 2 cents. That's a whole nother conversation, Ms. Robin. Self-interest needs to be called out. And Representative Senator Sullivan says the state has invested millions of dollars, yet outcomes remain flat with education. People laying out the curriculum. I hear this gentleman saying just the opposite, and his points are valid.
Are they investing in the school? Are they investing in the individuals going to the school? Because you can invest in the school system, but the school system is screwed. I didn't get nothing from school. I was like, yo, why am I here? I didn't learn. I would have rather went to a summer school or like I said about a trade school. We have to invest in these individuals because you got some bright kids. I could have fell off of it. I could have went to the streets. A lot of people I know are just in the streets, and I felt like I was weird because I wasn't that hood person, this sagging and this and that. And if I was, a lot of people that aren't like that are dragged into that because they don't have anything else to go to or anybody else to go to. So if you've invested millions in the school system, invest millions in an individual that has made it out of that situation and knows how to get maneuver out of that situation and has the connections now to help those people come up. Because if it's all about reaching back, invest in the people that's reaching back. The school system ain't reaching back. They holding people back because of the environment people in. So I think, invest in extracurricular things outside of school, because that's what helped me. Extracurricular things outside of school and people outside of school. School didn't help me do anything. High school,
Right.
school, all that. It just helped me get the grades so I could look like I was supposed to go on to the next level.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I didn't get
And, see,
nothing else.
and this is one thing I'm learning that I've learned in my sociology courses, just from personal observation. Like you said, those who make the best grades are not always the top earners. They're not
Not
always the business owners. Those that were average students or maybe D students at one point, they are the ones now that are really making the bank and are giving people jobs as to some degree. And so Senator Sullivan says reach out to him. So make sure you get his contact information,
I tell you
so we can.
what, the buddy system. It don't matter if you make all A's. The buddy system is still in place.
Yes.
I could be a black man with more qualifications and more qualified than a white man. If we're gonna keep it facts, keep it 100. And that person would, if a white man had a high school diploma, I had a college degree, and that man wasn't qualified for that position, likelihood of him getting that position is a lot higher than me getting the position, just because buddy system. And we have to create our own buddy system. We have to look at a person like, yo, I believe in you. I rock with that. You ain't got all this other stuff, but I know you about what you talking about. I'm gonna invest in you. I'm gonna invest in you. We got a crabs in the bucket mentality where we hold each other back. I made it. Oh, you got to figure it out, bro. Shit, I ain't got nothing for you. We got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of that.
All right, so I want to go into, because Miss Laura brought this back up. We talked about GameStop right before, the whole situation surrounding that, and that goes back into that have and have nots investing in this, that, and whatever. So let's just touch on that as much as we can. We got like 8 minutes in this segment. Um, we're
People,
seeing this. Go ahead. I'm gonna just let you take it away.
I'm not heavy in the stocks. I got
Okay.
a mentor that's heavy in the stocks, but I want people to understand that you're not in control of the stock market. People want to control everything that they can't control, and you see what they did is because, like, it's leverage. Somebody's always at the tippity top, and we're always going to be like bottom. Just like thinking that the president is at the top, but the president is not at the top. It's the Rockefellers, it's the Rothschilds, it's these families that own these banks, and it's the families that owns the Federal Reserve, all this different kind of stuff. So I think once we shift our mindset, we understand that we can't be upset or angry that certain things might not go our ways, because, like, we don't own it. It's like they're gonna do whatever they want to do. If they missing out on something, if you making too much money, they can shut that down. Easy, period. It's done. They'll shut it down. You can, and we live based off trends and challenges. So we'll forget this even happened next week. So it's like we're getting so upset and we're bashing them, all this and that. They're gonna still make their bread, just like we bash H&M and Zara and Gucci, but now we rocking it again. We're never like solid on, And so hearing everybody talk about Rob, I'm like, all right, you're gonna be back investing once they open everything back up. So why you screaming? Why you crying? Like,
And so we need to get to the mind. We need to get to a place where we're owners of things versus just the consumer of things.
or either you have somebody in the rooms with these people that's actually coming back and giving it to you. We don't got people that's in the rooms that's willing to come back and give it to us. We got people that's in the room that has their own circle of 3-4 people, and they giving it to them, but they're not giving it to a group of black people that wants to actually invest or go to the next level. So it's like very cliquish, in a way.
Okay. So a comment from Miss Carolyn. She says that was I missed the comment out of what you were saying, but that was my mantra when my husband and I started the Men of Tomorrow project. We did in Helena years ago to capture the boys that weren't accepted to play sports at college, weren't going to NBA, NFL, and others, giving them an outlet from crime and drugs, but give them a career in music, learning how to play an instrument. Yes, we do need to rethink how we invest in our communities. So yes. um,
we need we because we can only do so much without the proper resources. Just like people got mad about Clubhouse becoming $1 billion company or being valuated at $1 billion, and then people saying, "Oh, we always make the white man rich." When we gonna come together and patronize with each other? That's the thing we have to understand. It's already been laid out, the structure or the plan or the strategies of what they're doing. Our culture is so valuable. Our us hopping behind anything is so valuable. And if we see one, two, three, four, five of our celebrities who got a bag from the white man to promote their app, and we go to it, yo, you some of y'all celebrities and influencers and investors might have to miss out on a bag to help a black app blow up and become valuated at $1 billion. We have to sacrifice or just invest in our own people. And I think, a lot of people have to sell out because we don't buy into their shit. And it's like, when are we going to start buying into our people and investing in our people and stop saying, oh, black owned doesn't mean lower quality or a lower price. It's black owned is designer. I wish somebody would say my shoes not designer. I'm like,
your
yo, this
shoes.
this is designer, bro. Like, this can replace Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada, and anybody else you support if we support it.
Look, show those shoes again, because
If
we're
we
non-commercial, so it can't you do all that. But look, yeah, okay.
don't support
Don't
it,
sleep on. Do not sleep on the shoes. And then you have other brands, because of the one I'm gonna say because of, but since started your shoe brand, you've also launched other brands, and so you made that one thing work first, as you said. You made that
that
one thing work, and then you branched out.
you have to do. I give the analogy of planting a seed. You plant one seed, you water it, you nurture it, and usually that plant grows and it branches off into different things. Same thing with entrepreneurship. You have to niche down, because the thing I always tell my clients within niching down is not putting yourself into a box. It's actually helping you build brand credibility, brand recognition. What do you want to be known for? If people don't know what to know you for, then it's like you can't really build to that point of building that credibility and that recognition. If we think about LeBron James, think about basketball, but he has a school. We think about Louis Vuitton, we think about all these different pieces of product, but they started with totes. When we think about Apple, we think about the phone, the laptop, this and that. It started with the Mac. When we think about Rihanna, we think about music, but she got lingerie and she ain't dropped the album since. So I think you have to build that brand recognition and that loyalty and that credibility within a specific thing. Because jacks of all trades and masters of none, they really don't make it to the point where they are somebody like that. So if you want to make it to the point where you are somebody on that level or a brand on that level, you have to focus on a specific product, a specific niche, a specific value proposition, something that you're offering to this community of people on a consistent basis. They know you, they can come to you forward, and you're going to give them quality every single time. And once you got that built, then you branch off into something else. And that's what I was able to do. You want to be to the point where it's like Supreme. You can take a Gildan shirt that costs $7. You can slap your Supreme logo on it, and you can charge $1,000 for it. It's the branding. That's why I love being in branding. People want to market everything, but they don't get it branded. Marketing is like asking somebody on a date, and branding is the reason they said yes. If you're not branded right, you're not about to go on dates.
Oh wow, I love that analogy.
Come on,
Oh
come on.
wow.
We getting heated up.
Okay.
We getting heated up. Oh,
Look, I need to become one of your clients for my podcast, because
hey,
I was one of those people that when I first started, my podcast was going to its first year anniversary in February. And so when I first started, I had all these ideas, and I was going to launch initially like last November, December, and not last 2019. Anyway, um I had to take a step back because
mm-hmm.
my mentor was like, what you're doing now doesn't sound like you, it doesn't feel like you. Take a step back, narrow it down. And then I had two other friends tell me the same message. Me being me, a stubborn Pisces, was like, I don't want to hear that. But when I got out of my feelings, I was like, okay, let me do one thing, one type of segment, and then I can branch out to other types of segments and other types of whatever, and other things will come. Like I want to do merchandise, but I got to get the flow of the podcast and my guest list down before I can just branch out to more
Mm-hmm.
and more things.
You spread yourself too thin, you know, and that's not good, you know, when you spread yourself too thin. So really focusing on that one thing. If you think about any influencers out there, any content creators, they focus on a specific thing. If you go on to TikTok or Instagram, that's why you have mom bloggers. That's why you have food bloggers. That's why you have travel bloggers, because it's like they focus on that specific thing because they know their target audience, they know that niche, and they focus on it consistently. They offer the value, information, the shareable content, whatever it might be. And then they grow that family. I say build a family, not a customer base. They build that family that's going to rock with them for that specific thing. And then after that, no matter what you do, they coming for you, your personality. They coming for your energy, for your story, for the journey. And it don't matter what type of product you have at that point. They're gonna rock with it because you.
All right. Miss Carolyn says we'll be visiting your site for ordering. My husband and sons will be looking great at their feet. All right, Miss Carolyn, can't wait to see those posts with those shoes. I'm telling you, you will fall in love.
Right.
Um, Miss Brittany Lewis says so true. Different parts of the conversation. Miss Robin says stand and deliver. Miss Carolyn also says let's have that conversation deeper. I'm loving this. Like this is one of those conversations that again can branch out because
Mm-hmm.
investing in yourself, investing in community, like those are separate conversations. And one thing I'm learning in my trading group, and we're going to take a break, but we're going to continue on Facebook. So those of you listening on the air, again, you better jump on Facebook, get a part of this conversation because we're going to keep this train rolling until we come back. But we'll be right back after these announcements. Okay, so one thing I'm learning in my trading group is you have to adjust your mindset. Like I'm a very emotional, peace, love, and joy hippie girl, but when it comes to business, I got to get firmer. I got to become a little more, reserved and closed just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can I give back when I don't have anything for my like? I can't
Listen,
pour from an empty vessel.
gotta be
So
poured before you pour, or refilled shit. Because because if you just pouring, eventually it's just like, yo, I ain't got nothing else to give, and I'm not being replenished. If you're not being replenished by your circle or by the people, your circle is very important. I think the people you surround yourself by is very, very, very important.
you made a comment earlier. Your network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that. That's another thing our coach is, trying to teach us. Who you surround yourself with, and we've heard this, cliche: birds of a feather flock together. What kind of birds are you hanging with?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you hanging with? Who are you pulling knowledge from? Who are you allowing to pour into your spirit, into your mind? That is very
That's
important.
why a lot of people getting killed on the streets now. Still, that weren't living that lifestyle. I got brothers that weren't living that lifestyle, and because of their circle that they pick, they get sucked into that. If you hang around 3 people, 4 people that are playing the game every day, carrying their gun, walking the street, slinging dope, you're gonna be the fifth person doing it. So it's like you have to understand that your peers can influence. They're very influential on what you do with your life. So if you're not rocking with that specific lifestyle, you want to do better. Sometimes you got to separate yourself, and
Okay.
that's growth. That's just growth.
All right. Good morning to my sister in Arizona, Miss Gwen Henderson. Good morning to Mayor Mathis, and Miss Robin has been going back and forth. Like again, there's some wonderful comments on here, and they're talking more about education and you know increasing the qual. We talked about increasing the quality of education
Like,
for the individual. You have, you know, I've had conversations with other educators, and they talk about these IEP plans um, because there are students who are falling behind because they don't meet the quote unquote grade requirements or they don't meet other requirements. So you stick them in this program and this little, back then it was like they go to this one room classroom all day, you know, they call them the special education students, and some of them just needed a different type of learning environment versus
mm-hmm.
what they were getting. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why even COVID opening up parents to homeschooling. Homeschooling is something that a lot of people should really leverage and look into it, because you can control what your child is learning, what they're receiving, what kind of information. So you don't even know what's in these curriculums nowadays. So it's
Yes. And we see now that there is a bill that's trying to be passed. I don't know if it's on the federal, I think it's on the state level. It may be on the federal level about taking away certain education, mainly surrounding, I don't want to say Black history, but anything that's dealing with race, gender, and some
Mhm.
other, there's a whole list of things. We want to remove that from the curriculum. And so that's, again, readjusting and taking away.
Cause
Uh,
it's like Black history isn't, it's like, is that not American history? Like, why isn't Tulsa talked about, Black Wall Street? Why isn't it talked about? Why isn't the Elaine massacre talked about? Why isn't Little Rock Nine talked about? All this stuff that happened down south. We're not taught about it, and when you hear about it, you're probably like old as shit, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know this happened down there. And
yes.
man.
During Kwanzaa, the Kwanzaa celebration, I pulled out rather some Black history moments that I felt were important that tied into the different Kwanzaa principles, and I am going to continue doing that, telling those stories that we don't hear on a regular basis, or that they're not even taught during Black History Month. So there were many communities that were thriving. There were small Black communities that were thriving. There were, we know Rosewood in Florida, but there was another community in Florida that was also thriving. But again, due to the racial tensions and unrest, it was destroyed. And we see this all over. I want to give a shout out to my sister Gwen. We've been having wonderful conversations. She grew up in Chicago, in the Illinois area. There are so many stories and communities um, about Black communities that were destroyed, again, due to discrimination. So we can go on and on about that. But again, we need to learn our history so that we can now say, okay, here's what we can do better to invest in ourselves, as you say, reach
Mhm.
back, pull ourselves up. We have to take care of ourselves. This is not to discredit all of our allies we have in our corner. I have some wonderful people that don't look like me in my corner.
Oh yeah, I love
However,
everybody.
however, we have to start with ourselves. So this
We
last segment is shorter, so I want to
we
give you a moment to wrap up our discussion and throw some more gems out there. Go ahead.
we have to start with ourselves, because uh, we the thing that we do, that our community does, that I sometimes I get annoyed with, is I speak on a lot of controversial topics and a lot of touchy topics people don't want to talk about. And whenever I say certain things, people will be like, "Oh, well, the white man does this, or it's their fault that we do this, or this and that." And I'm like, I'm not speaking on anybody else's community. I'm speaking on our community. I'm speaking on what we've done wrong, because we always want to highlight what we've done right and never want to speak on what we've done wrong or what we need to work on. The way I look at that is like, that's like looking at a report card and seeing all A's and then seeing the F at the bottom. Forget all the A's. That's cool. Whatever. What is this F here for? So let's focus on what the issue is in this point. And I think we always step outside of our community to talk about people and say it's their fault or you're racist. But it's like, we racist to ourselves. Colorism, light skin, dark skin. Fuck, we all black. We all black at the end of the day. Why are we still doing this? We so quick to go to a hot mic and bash our people. We so quick to say, I'm not supporting no more black owned businesses because customer service is terrible. You had one bad experience with one black owned business, and now you threw all of them down the drain. And if you having a bad experience at McDonald's where your fries cold, and you go to Walmart and your stuff broke, or you have bad experience with the customer service, you're gonna go to the Walmart on the next corner. You're not gonna be like, I'm done with Walmart. Like, that's the thing that we have to get out of doing. We have to understand that, bro, give your people grace. If you didn't like this business, don't bash them completely out on social media. Don't cancel them, counsel them. Let's talk to them in the DM, email, tell them, yo, I got the package. This is what I would do different. Just going to give you a heads up for future reference. If you don't want to shop with them no more, cool, that's fine. Go find somebody else that's black that offers that same thing, or let that black-owned business find you. But we got to stop devaluing ourselves. We have to stop not looking at the issues at hand. We have to start looking at what are we doing to hold ourselves back. Forget what anybody else is doing to hold us back, because we doing some stuff to hold ourselves back too. And if you ain't sweeping around your own front door, don't go sweeping around somebody else's. Because until we tackle our own issues that we're causing within our own community ourselves, we killing each other. Why should I be scared to walk down the street and see somebody look like me and that I might get killed? I should be shaking it up with you, no matter what hood, what set, whatever you're from. And then the thing that we don't even have neighborhoods. We got hoods. We ain't got no neighbors. And we can't have communities until we have neighborhoods.
You better speak on it.
Have jump hood to community. It don't work like that. So we got to get out of the mind thinking, yeah, I'm from the hood. We in the hood. This is just what we do. No, it's not. Who said that's just what we do? Sagging, slanging dope, whipping the gun out, shoot, 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 pow, 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 pew, pew, pew. That's not just what we do. And then people think, you want to against our culture if you don't rock with that. No, it's not that, bro. It's just I know who I am. I don't let society dictate. I don't let them control that narrative of who I am and who I'm supposed to be. So you got to take that narrative back and really control that. It's important.
All right. So we're down to our last minute and a half. I cannot thank you enough. I want to read this comment. I'm starting to get everybody's comments in. Ms. Carolyn Jones says we must dominate to admire. No, we must begin to admire and respect our own people. Stop killing our own. Stop defaming character of our own. But start giving everyone another chance to thrive with dialogue and dignity. Ms. Robin says persist. It gets better. My sister Gwen says, come on now, speak the truth. I can't thank you all. And there's so many other comments, and it's a state bill that's trying to remove some things from our curriculum. And so we need to have more discussion about that on the state level. And then definitely please get in touch with Senator Sullivan so that you all, hopefully you can come back to Arkansas sometime this year before the year is out and, get some things popping and help people to adjust their mindset and for us to grow.
That's what it is.
I'm going to do my part right here in my own community. I have a letter that I'm drafting for the city council and, hopefully I can get some things going. So, but again, thank you, Mr. Eric. He also has a luxury tea brand. If you like tea, again, we can't really just plug things on the air, but look, we'll put the information in the Facebook Live feed for you to reach out to him on how you can keep in touch with Mr. Eric and see all the wonderful things he has going on. Follow him on Instagram, the Dr. Dapper. Y'all would not be disappointed. So thank you, Mr. Eric. And I know it's wee early hours in the morning. So look, just for getting up, he's all the way out in California, y'all, but he's from the Delta region, so he knows what we go through down here. So thank you to everyone listening to KLEK 102.5 FM. Have a great and blessed Friday. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. You've been, oh my gosh. Let's stop the feed.